Guys, welcome to the 2022 Toyota Tundra You Say What video series. What is this about? Well, I'm going to be reading your comments. So it's not about what I think of the truck, it's about what you think. As you know, the brand new, all new Toyota Tundra just made its debut last night, about 14 hours ago. And of course, we have covered it in an extensive way, starting with our TFL off-road video series where I did a walk around of the TRD Pro, and we already have over 1,400 comments on this video. And then we also had the TFL truck video where I went into depth into all the features and the top 10 features. And this was a longer video, about 34 minutes. We have some comments from this as well. And then, of course, I did an interview with the chief engineer, Mike Sweers, on our TFL Talk channel, which is our podcast channel, which you can also get in audio form anywhere you're listening to your podcasts. So I wanted to read a few of your comments and actually find some themes about this brand new truck. And one theme came through pretty loud and clear. And this comment comes from Paul Ira. The next generation Tundra in 2030 will have a huge plastic and chromed out grille protruding like a hernia and almost touching the ground. Well, yeah, this is a little bit of a on the harsher side of things, but I think what this comment encapsulates is that a lot of you guys didn't like the look of this truck. So two just comments on this comment. First of all, sometimes it's good to reserve your final opinion until you see the truck in person. But also, the look of it is, especially in some of these videos and images, is pretty striking. And in my experience, when a new design gets strong opinions, both negative and positive, I think that's a pretty good thing. That means what this design is doing is it's kind of creating, dislike and like feelings. And maybe over time it will grow on people. So that's not a bad thing. It would be worse if everybody said, oh, it looks boring and it looks mundane and it looks common. So, but there are a lot of comments coming through to this extent. Of course, a lot of you guys are also focusing on a lot of details and technical specifications. For example, the 33s on the TRD Pro look too small for this size of truck. This comes from T. Brenner. The grill is so far from the radiator that you could fit a winch inside of it and probably someone to operate it, said Elp in 2007. Look fun to park. So I think it's another comment about the size of this truck, the brand new Toyota Tundra. And also, your comment about the grill is actually far away from the radiator that's inside of it. That's actually a trend not just in the Tundra, but in many, many other brand new trucks. And part of the reason is, of course, also like pedestrian safety and just aerodynamics and how the truck is designed, because the hood has to be just a certain height for certain safety requirements, and also it has to be aerodynamic. And Toyota worked pretty heavily on aerodynamics of this truck to actually get it, more efficient. Of course, this leads to the second trend in your comments, which is the lack of the V8. So if I look for that, for example, Idea Called Freedom says, nice, love the video. I'm definitely a V8 guy and always will be. Let me see if I can find some other comments about this. My thoughts, mixed emotions. Disappointed on the loss of V8, but the horsepower and torque, wow. I do like the design. Wow, what a screen and a nice interior. Can't wait for a deep dive on the ins and outs of the hybrid system. This comes from Tommy Gordon Jr. So some mixed emotions coming through too, because people love the V8 and the sound of that V8, the 5.7 liter that's been there before. And now the Tundra is now going to be offering two versions of their twin turbo V6. Big Horse 10 says, looks like my V8 Tundra will go up in value even more. Just looking at these comments, I won't hesitate to trade it in for a new one though. So that's another comment that says the Tundras, the used trucks will continue to maintain their value, which I would agree with, especially if there's some more traditional buyers who want that older V8 versus the new technology. By the way, so we don't have the fuel efficiency numbers on the new Tundra yet. They haven't been published yet. Toyota hasn't disclosed it. We know that they're targeting, the competition, especially with their hybrid. Their hybrid has 437 horsepower and 583 pound-feet of torque with a 10-speed automatic, and of course that electric motor that's sandwiched between the transmission and the engine. For example, the F-150 hybrid has a very similar configuration, same displacement approximately for the engine, also a 10-speed, also a sandwich electric motor. The Ford is rated at 24 mpg combined, 24 highway, 24 city, so 24 across the board. And I find that the F-150 hybrid, because I own one, it does a little bit better in city driving, because when you're stopping and going, the hybrid comes through. That technology is more beneficial. On the highway, the hybrid is not as great. So maybe Toyota Tundra will be of the similar, on the similar vein. Interesting truck. I would love to see the Toyota do a heavy-duty half-ton on the same vein as the Titan XD. So this was another trend through some of the comments, because a lot of you guys were expecting really, really high towing numbers and payload numbers from this truck. Toyota rates it at 12,000 pounds of maximum towing and about 1,940 pounds of maximum payload. So they did not go for those maximum numbers. But when I interviewed Mike Swears, he explained all this. And this is a longer video too. This is about 50 minutes of us just talking and showing you guys a lot of the features. So if you haven't seen this, this will answer a lot of questions you probably have about why 12,000 pounds, why the hybrid, why did they choose nickel metal hydride battery underneath the rear seat, etc., etc., etc. And by the way, that hybrid battery that's hiding underneath the rear seat is about 1.87 kilowatt hours. So it's a little bit larger capacity than the lithium ion battery in the Ford F-150. But of course, we don't know exactly how much percentage of that battery they're actually usable, how much of it is actually usable. There's also a comment I saw here where it's about the new bed. And the new Tundra has a composite bed. And there was a comment that, sorry, I'm not finding it here. Trying to do this real time. Well, for example, Cody Simpson says, is anyone else disappointed that the TRD Pro cannot have a 6.5-foot bed option like the other trims? So a lot of you have asked for a longer bed on the crew cab trucks. The Toyota Tundra will be offering that, but not on the Pro. So the Pro is just one configuration. It's the Crew Max short 5.5-foot bed. And that kind of makes sense, I think, in my mind, because of the off-road angles and the capability that they're looking for that truck to actually create. Because if you look at the Raptor, the TRX, the Silverado ZR2, the Ram Rebel, a lot of those trucks have similar configurations for as far as length of the truck is concerned. But they have a new composite bed, and some of you were saying that Tundra or Toyota actually took some of the best features that they felt from, just in general, from the industry. For example, GM is doing a composite beds now too. Toyota has been doing it with the Tacoma. So they kind of got that and picked it out and kind of did the best of breed for the Tundra. A lot of you said that the Tundra looks like a GMC or a Chevy from the front. I can kind of see some of that, especially with the side slits in the the air intakes, especially in the front. Some of you said it's a large Tacoma, so it looks like a Tacoma that just grew up and became bigger. Some of you said it looks like a Frontier. So a lot of you guys have many different kind of perspectives and views on this. But there are kind of three main themes, I think. The styling, the V8 engine and lack thereof. And then the final theme was also about either some of the other items I talked about, but also the interior. So let me show you some of the interior of this new truck. A lot of you said that the screen may be too large or it may be sticking up quite a bit. When I was sitting in this truck, personally, when I saw it in person, I actually felt the execution of the interior was pretty good. This lower part of the steering wheel was a little bit thick. It's kind of strange, but I think they stylized a lot of it. A lot of you said, you made a comment because in the TRD Pro, let me try to find that. In the TRD Pro, there's a large Toyota script. There's a large Toyota script on the dash for the passenger. And a lot of you were kind of making fun of this because you were saying, the passenger doesn't know which truck they're in, so they have to know. But what Toyota actually did with the interiors, they actually gave different trim levels different touches. So for example, 1794 luxury model, this would be in wood, and there'll be a 1794 script. Some other interiors don't have any script. So it's just kind of a combination of different elements. So this is our new video series. We call it You Say What? Because it's kind of, we want to see exactly what you're saying. And also, just to let you know that we're reading all of your comments, or at least as much as possible, because already there are 3,000 comments between the website and the 3 different videos that we published. So you guys are providing us a lot of feedback. Please continue to do so. And we're listening to you guys. And, I'll bet that manufacturers are also listening because they're also reading these comments and they want to know what you guys think. So once again, thank you for providing your comments and feedbacks and likes or dislikes. I don't know how to rate this truck right now based on your comments because I saw a lot of positive and a lot of negative as well. So I'm going to give it horizontal thumbs. So not super thumb up from you or not a super thumb down, because there were quite a lot of negativity, but also a lot of you guys liked what they did with the interior and some of the other features. So as always, I'll see you on tfltruck.com, our website, and of course TFL Now right here and TFL Truck YouTube channels.